Well, customer service is the glue which holds together almost every industry, from banking to retail. The benefits for both customers and staff, endless, especially during a pandemic. Joining me now live is Jackie Scammell, customer service specialist and author of Service Habits. Great to have you on the show this morning, Jackie. It is important, customer service. It's not all that easy when you're in the middle of a pandemic, though.
Yeah, you're certainly right, Tim. It requires our employees to be more mindful and more present than ever, and those skills of the heart that we talk about, good judgment, empathy, deep listening, great questions, they really are not just a nice to have anymore. I think they're an economic imperative now.
It's vital, though, isn't it? It's vital for the operation of so many businesses to have that customer service working, because if it drops away, the business drops away.
It certainly does, and we're social animals. We need to feel socially connected. So service has a beautiful opportunity to bring people together and move us from feeling socially isolated to socially connected. And those little things that during an ordinary day or an insignificant moment, like using people's names and personalising service, are going to matter more than ever.
And it keeps people connected, doesn't it? As you mentioned, in self-isolation, a lot of people aren't seeing anyone else apart from when they pop into a shopping centre or do something that is essential for them.
That's right, and I think service has an opportunity to really regain hope and give consumers a lot more confidence by simply just showing value in their products and giving people a sense of belonging with a familiar brand, a familiar employee that they used to see every day when they got their coffee or their local bookstore. And it has an opportunity to really create a ripple effect throughout society, not to mention the employees. I think the clever businesses that are focusing on service are equally focusing on the quality of the health of their employees, because they want employees to be real advocates of their brand, advocates of their products, and feel great when they're serving people. So, it goes beyond the customer. It really starts inside organisations and looking at how well people are engaged and connected within, their working culture.
It's a challenging time, isn't it? Because people are sidestepping each other in shopping centres, and I think Australians and everyone's saying this has done an amazing job with social distancing and continues to do so. But it's not easy inside shops, is it? And that makes it more difficult for those that are serving at that front line.
Yeah, it sure does. The 1.5 metre rule, where we're meant to be keeping apart from each other, is quite challenging. You sort of see people ducking and weaving, and it's created this weirdness amongst people. But I remember back in the 90s when I was going through my McDonald's training, they used to have this rule, Tim, called the 2 metre rule, and what that meant was when people come into your 2 metre space, you make eye contact, you acknowledge them, you smile, and I think more than ever we've got to. We might not be able to touch or shake each other's hands, but we can still, through our eyes and smile and a good nod of the head, show people that, we see them, that we hear them, and that they matter. And really every single human, pre-COVID, during COVID, and certainly post-COVID, those desires are still there. We all want to be seen, we all want to be heard, and we all want to feel like, we matter to people.
Through the bushfires, and it seems a long time ago, we saw some wonderful moments of human spirit. At the start of this crisis, we saw some fairly ordinary pedestrian moments where people were clamouring for toilet paper, and a lot of that was driven by panic. So we can excuse people of that behaviour at times. But what we have seen, haven't we, Jackie, over the past few weeks, is that sort of bad behaviour become good behaviour.
Yeah, and, service heroes, we can all be a service hero. We don't need to be, a firefighter to be a hero. I think more than ever, there's an opportunity for society to have a bit of a reset. And those that are on one side of the counter, whether we're being paid to do a job or we're paying for a service, we're all humans at the end of the day. And I think customers can role model just as much as employees, what treatment we all expect and deserve. Those skills of social intelligence, those interpersonal skills are going to be so critical in the future to give us hope and to regain our confidence, particularly if we've got cash-strapped customers that are, thinking twice about spending, in spaces like retail. Things matter. There's a different weight and meaning now to who we choose to spend with and who we give our money to.
Basic's a word we could use, simple's another word we could use when we look at the way that people should be behaving. It's just common decency, isn't it? And people having a little bit of patience, understanding what someone else is going through. And I think that this is probably one of the real positives that will come out of the crisis, of course, which we will come out of at some point.
Yeah, and all of those basic things that we know we've probably, in some cases, taken for granted, the stuff that we've been starved off at the moment, going to see our local footy team or, weekend activities and barbecues. Service can be a real conduit to help people feel connected again. I've got a local grocer down here who he really quickly moved to deliveries online, and when I ring to place my order for fruit and veg, I'm speaking to the owner. He knows his product, and I feel cared for, and there's a deeper loyalty now with them, and those emotions will last. So the clever businesses out there will see, once again, service is an economic imperative, and it's a way to really build a brighter future, particularly if businesses have been hit hard.
You've come a long way since that McDonald's training when you were flipping cheeseburgers back then in the 90s, and you've written a book. Tell us about the book, because plenty of people have time to digest books right at the moment.
They sure do. Thanks, Tim. The book's called Service Habits, and it really is, it's a how-to book, so it helps people look at the habits, the day-to-day habits that we have when we serve and interact, both internal and external customers, and small, tiny steps, ways to strengthen relationships. And so it really looks at how staff stay present, how they stay in the moment, how they balance their actions when they're dealing with complaints or confrontational situations, but more importantly, how we understand others. And I think we're really being shown that lesson at the moment is how to understand people, how to listen, empathy, and put ourselves in other people's shoes and just slow it down, be a little bit more gentle, a little bit more, kinder, perhaps.
Yeah, we can't show it in our actions, but we can certainly show it in our words. When I say actions, physically, because we have to stay apart. But you can do it in just being a friendly person to talk to. Jackie, it's been a delight to chat with you today. Have a nice weekend.
Thanks, Tim. You too. Take care.